Okay, so first and foremost, Jade, it's been a while since South Africa has at least seen you fight, and what's next for you?
Well, I'll be fighting on the 25th of May. I'll be fighting in Scotland. I'll be fighting a guy with a 1-0 record. He never had a very long amateur career. He only had 23 amateur fights. His name is Jordan Latimer, and he's only had one pro fight. So he's not very experienced in the pro ranks, and even as an amateur, he never had a long amateur career. Myself.
What happened to the connection?
I never but rough around edges, but in this game, one shot could change anything. What I am worried about is that he does come out swinging wild. So, like I say, one shot can change anything, and I'll definitely be hitting and moving a lot, so that he doesn't catch me with that lucky shot.
So let's talk, because you also have another fight lined up after this one. Obviously, this one's in Scotland, that one's in Ireland. Is this like a keep busy fight for you?
You know what? I actually just changed training camps, so I never really had much sparring or anything going into my fights on the 16th of June. That's the one that I've like really been concentrating on, because that'll be my first fight at welterweight. And once I win that fight, they'll start talking about giving me Celtic title shots, Irish title shots, and then once I have those titles, I can move forward in my career. I'm on the verge of turning into a journeyman. I've got nine wins and 6 losses, so another loss could potentially turn me into a journeyman, and that's the last thing I want in my career. I really want to work on my career and move forward in my career than become a journeyman. So it is more of a keep busy fight, the one going into Scotland. But I think it's also just to keep ring rust off and to make sure that I'm 110% ready for come 16 June. The guy I'm fighting on 16 June, he's been part of the Irish team as an amateur. He's won all Ireland titles as an amateur. And also, as a pro, he's not very experienced, but he is a very experienced fighter when it comes to boxing. I mean, he had over 200 amateur fights. So his name's Ken McMahon, and like I say, he's got the skill to beat me if it comes down to it. But I've got the power and experience to beat him. So it's gonna be come the 16th of June. That's the fight everybody's waiting to see, and that's the one I'm really focused on.
Okay, so we also might have some SA Boxing Talk people there that day. So, I mean, in terms of interviews and stuff, we'll look after you. Tell us more about this guy. You've actually sparred him before. So, I mean, you're former teammates. So, how do you separate the two as you go into battle?
You see, my manager and stuff is up in Dublin, so that's about 2.5 hours away from me. So I used to go up there once or twice a month and go and train up there so that my manager can just see how I'm progressing in my career and things. And so every time I went up there, I was sparring with him and stuff. So I have sparred him, and in sparring, it was always tough sparring, but I always feel I had the upper hand. And like I say, you can never take anything away from a fighter. What happens in sparring could be completely different to what would happen in the fight. And nobody knew when we were sparring that I was going to come down to welterweight. I thought I was going to get down to light middle, junior middle, and that's where I was going to stay. I mean, in South Africa, I won my provincial title at middleweight, and I felt good there. Just the type of training that happens here compared to the type of training there, it's much more intense and things. And they're a lot more strict here. They check. So they a lot more strict here than in South Africa. But again, I can't take anything away from anywhere in South Africa. Anton Gilmore, was brilliant with my career. I mean, I had 14 fights with Anton. I won a provincial title. I fought 8 fights in a year. So I had a brilliant career in South Africa, and I miss boxing in South Africa. I miss the crowd. I mean, I'd have a crowd of 250 people plus buying tickets from me and things, and yeah, I'd be lucky if I'm selling 30, 40. So my fan base is growing, but I miss the exposure and the atmosphere of fight nights in South Africa, and I miss having an experienced voice like Anton Gilmore in my corner. I mean, Anton knew me inside out. There was nobody that knew me better than him besides my mother, and Anton knew what to say to me and when to say it to me to get me to perform at my best. So I'm yet to find a coach like that in Ireland, and I don't know if it will happen.
I'll tell you a little bit of irony is Anton Gilmore actually is Irish, so I mean that kind of
funny enough, yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. Yeah, but are you coming back to South Africa anytime? Because I know you're campaigning as a welterweight now, and there's a lot more guys in the lower weight divisions in South Africa.
Yeah, I'm campaigning as a welterweight. I don't have any fights planned in South Africa. I'd love to come and fight there and test some of the welterweights. I mean, South Africa's got brilliant welterweight talent that's come up. I mean, Thulani Mbenge, brilliant. He's going for IBO title, and I really hope he wins it. He's a brilliant fighter. We got Chris van Heerden fighting for the WBC Invitational. So South Africa has just produced great welterweights. Sean Ness. So we got great welterweights. I do come to South Africa once or twice a year for holiday, so I'll be there again at the end of August. And if anybody can get me a title fight, I'd love it. I'd love to fight for a title fight. Maybe WBF International or something like that. Any kind of title fight, I'm willing to fight and be tested. I'm not saying I'd beat anybody in South Africa, but I'm also not saying that I wouldn't bring my A game, you know what I mean? So if there is somebody that's in South Africa at the moment that I am looking to fight, it would probably be the likes of Eric Mukadi. He just fought Rock Knapp at junior middle, but he's actually a natural welterweight, and I'd love to fight him. He's just a brilliant fighter, and I've always watched him fight, and I've always admired him, and I'd love to test myself against somebody like that.
What about a fight against? Okay, 2 guys come to mind, and I know they're not welterweights, but they're junior middleweights. And probably if you're coming down to South Africa, you might end up being around that weight division. Is a guy like Mark Farah or potentially Etienne van Niekerk?
If there's anybody who could really test me, it'd probably be Etienne. I take nothing away from Mark. Mark is a brilliant boxer, and for what he's done in the short time that he's been in the game, he's brilliant. He wasn't an amateur. He's never had any amateur fights, and he's just done brilliant work in the boxing ranks. And I really admire him for what he's done. But has he really been tested? No, he hasn't. So I don't think anybody like Mark would test me at all. Etienne could test me. I've seen him as an amateur. He was brilliant as an amateur. And but even yet again in the pro ranks, has he been tested? No, he hasn't. I'd love to see Etienne van Niekerk or Mark Farah fight somebody like Rock. Rock is brilliant. Rock just fought like Rock, and if they beat Rock, then I feel they would test me. But would they beat Rock? I doubt it.
You mentioned Rock. Would you take a fight with him?
Funny enough, when I was in South Africa, there was a time that Rock's management was talking about fighting me, and they felt that he could beat me. Motor Undertaker said he wasn't ready. I'd like to fight him. Rock's a brilliant fighter. Rock is somebody I could see actually competing at international level, and he's just a very hard worker. He trains hard, and when he's in the fight, he works extremely hard. He's got a high work rate. He's very strong. He fought one of my stablemates, Mandla Mpofu, and beat Mandla on points. And to be honest, I thought Mandla was going to knock Rourke out. I was telling Rourke before the fight, I was telling him, if you really want to beat Mandla, make sure your guard is tight. But Mandla's got the power, and he will knock you out. And Rourke shocked me. I'll be honest with you. So I wouldn't mind fighting Rourke. I'm not a person that runs away from fights. So if the money is right, I'll fight anybody.
And I take it you're not gonna. I suppose that would be like your limit. You would never ever return to middleweight or anything like that.
No, I think I won't ever go above junior middle again. So I would have loved a rematch with Barnes. I mean, Barnes fought me in my ninth fight. I would have loved to have a rematch with him, but I don't ever see myself going up to middleweight again. So there's not really any test for me there. And like I say, I'll just campaign at I want to campaign at welterweight, and that's where I want to stay. But if there's a good potential fight and it's worth my while to fight at junior middle, I'll fight at junior middle, no problem.
Okay, and then in terms of so you're gonna have your fights on the 25th of May, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so do you know the venue? Which part of Scotland that's going to be in?
I haven't yet. I'll be honest with you, I only got the call yesterday, so details haven't been confirmed yet. That's why I haven't posted anything on Facebook or anything like that yet. I'm just waiting on details. The fight has been confirmed though, and I needed permission from my opponent that I'm fighting on the 16th of June's manager, and he gave the permission, so it's a go ahead. So I am definitely fighting. I'm only fighting a 4-rounder, so like I said, it's again just to keep the ring rust off.
Okay.
But once I get details, I'll post that on Facebook and things like that. I don't have any details at the moment. No.
We were talking about earlier. You mentioned actually that if you take a few more losses, you'll become a journeyman. So far in Ireland, it's been tough going for you. What makes you so confident that you're going to turn this around?
You see, to be honest with you, when I left South Africa, I thought I was good enough to take on international level. I should have maybe fought for a South African title first, and then maybe 1 or 2 international fights while I was in South Africa with somebody who knew me, like Anton. I came here. I've had rough going. I'm on to my 3rd coach in a year, and I was with Anton for 3 years. So it has been rough. I've been here for 1 year. I've only had 3 fights. Where in South Africa I was averaging between 7 and 8 fights, 7 or 8 fights a year. So I've only had 3 fights since I've left South Africa. I've lost all 3, but I fought 2 of them at super middleweight. I'm not a super middleweight. I fought 1 at light middle. I feel I never had enough time to get comfortable in the weight, but I also feel the fight was stopped a bit early. But I've been training really hard, and I just feel that welterweight is the weight I should be, and it's the weight I should have always been. I'll never forget the day I got my license. Uncle Jeff Ellis actually said to me, "Jade, keep on training hard. You should be a welterweight." And this will be my first fight at welterweight. So this is where I should have been my whole career. I shouldn't have had any of my other fights that I had. And I was lucky to get some good wins and get wins in divisions that I wasn't supposed to be in. If you look at my height, I'm only 172 centimeters. So and I fought my first 2 fights at cruiserweight. I should have never fought there at all in my life. So
oh wow, it's a cruiserweight. I didn't even know that. Jeez.
Yeah, I fought my first 2 fights at cruiserweight, and then I fought my next 4 at light heavy. I should have never been in those divisions. So I feel being down at welterweight, I've been lucky because I've carried my weight, my power with me from cruiserweight down to welterweight now. I've just carried my power with me, and I've been lucky. So I feel welterweight's where I'll make success. If not, if I get if I get another loss or two, I might consider calling it a day. I never want to turn into a journeyman. I mean, nobody ever wants to be a journeyman. I could be a journeyman and have 17 fights in a year if I really wanted to, and just fight for money. But that's not what I want. I want to actually be something in this game. So.
Okay. And tell us about so the decision to move to Ireland, was it a life decision, a boxing decision? What made you move there?
To be honest, it was a bit of both. It was a bit of life, but it was also a bit of boxing. Like I wanted to, like I've always been watching Europeans fight and things like that. So I've always wanted to learn the European style of fighting and things. But also it was to try and improve my life and also like make something of my life. Like I feel in South Africa I was stuck in a routine. I'd go to work, from work go to training, from training go home, sleep, start all over again. And I feel I was just stuck in a routine. And although I was in a routine and things, I wasn't really going anywhere in my life. And I'm only 28. I'll be 28 next week. And I feel it's really time to make something with my life. And if I want to start a family, I couldn't be living the way I was living in South Africa. I have to make something with my life.
Okay, and you got a few teammates actually fighting soon. Well, ex-teammates, I should say, but you probably still consider them close friends. Do you want to say anything to them? Because I know, for example, Warren LaRue's fighting in about a 2 weeks' time.
Yes, Warren's more than just a teammate. Warren's like a brother to me, and he's having a rematch with Luke Sutherland.
Yeah.
Luke stopped him the first time. I just hope Warren's been training hard and he's been working on his mistakes, and I really hope he turns it around. Luke is a brilliant fighter, but also he's not getting fights the way he should be getting fights. I mean, he only had one fight, and that was against Warren. He hasn't fought since. So I really hope Warren has been working on his mistakes, and I really hope he takes the experience of the loss, because losses teach you more than wins. And I hope he actually takes the experience that he got from the loss and turns it around and gets a big win. I've got there's tons of my teammates fighting back home. Mike's always fighting. Anton's trying to keep him active. I really hope to see Mike getting a big title sometime. He just lost the WBO Africa title in Ghana, and I hope to see him get a big title in the future.
Yeah, look, if he's if he's promoted in South Africa, it's very hard to go travel. We've seen a lot of the guys going overseas recently and getting robbed, and it's hard to make a name overseas as well. I mean, first of all, you're not the favorite guy, you're the foreigner, so you got to first of all you got to fight the judges, you got to knock the guy out, and unless it's on main stream TV, you won't get a fair decision. So I suppose there's another element to it. So going to a country like Ghana would have been a tough experience for Mike. He's not the type of guy that is going to go and be like Mike Tyson and knock everyone out. He's a skillful boxer, so there's always going to be tough traveling. So I mean, but in terms of going forward now, he's got the skills to go forward. So I mean, if you wanted to, who else is fighting, by the way?
I think I saw Mandla's fighting as well, and then I'm not sure who else Anton has fighting. I know Wade has been mentioned for SA title shots and things like that. I really hope Wade makes something of his career. Like he had a bit of bad luck at EFC when he was still fighting, cage fighting. He fought for the title and he lost against Boyd Allen. I see Boyd's also made the change to boxing now. But I really hope to see Wade have a title soon, and I really hope to see him either challenge for maybe the Gauteng title. I'd love to see Wade against Fernando Rodriguez for the Gauteng title.
That's a good fight.
And then and then I'd love to say title. I feel I sparred Wade tons of times, and if there's anybody who can take a shot, it's definitely Wade. But he takes unnecessary punishment, and he needs to turn it around and needs to start defending himself and start getting big wins and start getting titles. He needs that in his career.
Do you think, let's say this ban for Baron van Rooyen gets, let's just say it doesn't go through and he still remains the SA champion. Do you think Wade could go in and fight him and actually become out victorious?
Wade definitely has potential to beat Barnes, but Barnes has experience, and that's one thing I learned against Barnes. Barnes was supposed to knock me out in 4. He couldn't knock me out in 10. He eventually stopped me in the 10th, controversially, but I take nothing away from Barnes. Barnes has unbelievable skill and unbelievable experience. So can Wade beat him? Yes, he can if he switched on the day. But if you threw Wade and Barnes in tomorrow, Barnes would win simply on experience.
Okay, let's go back to you and your fights. I see you got a bunch of T-shirts that you got coming out. Is there any way for fans back home to get a hold of those?
I'm actually getting quotes from somebody in South Africa to make shirts, and if I accept the quotes, once I get the quotes, I'll be making 30 that will be shipped to Ireland, and then I'll get my mother to sell some for my fans and things like that back home in South Africa. So yeah, definitely, I'll be keeping everyone updated as to how that happens. And if I don't accept the quote from South Africa and I get them made here, then when I come down in August, I'll bring some with me, definitely, 100%.
And for all the people that follow you on social media, I mean, well, where can the people that will be watching this video follow you? Do you have other social medias? Do you have Instagram, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook. I've actually got a fan page on Facebook, Jade Karam. Okay. So all my fights are actually streamed off my fan page on Facebook. So anyone who wants to follow me and follow my career, I put some training videos on there. I don't put any fancy things like sparring and things like that. It's just mainly my cardio workouts and my strength and conditioning workouts that I put on there. But then when it comes to fights, all my fights will go onto my page. So I've always got somebody at the events who will stream it, either my fiance Courtney or my manager Stephen Sharp. They'll record the fight and it'll be live on my fan page. So like I said, go on my fan page on Facebook and like it, Jade Karam, and you could watch all my fights live. And if you miss the live fights, you could always go and rewatch them.
Okay, Jade, before I let you go, I just want to for you to send a shout out to everyone, your fans, your obviously your parents back home, just that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd like to send a shout out my friends, my family, my mother Suzette, my uncle Michael, my running partner back home Leon, and everyone who follows me and followed me when I was back home and came to watch my fights. And I just hope to make you guys proud in the future.
Alright, cool. And then we'll hope to catch up with you when you come when you come back to South Africa, I should say. And yeah, hopefully you can get a fight while you're here.
I hope so. If I do, number one coach Anton. I haven't had anybody better in my corner to date, and hope to have a reunion fight with Anton in my corner again.
Okay, cool, Jade. It's nice catching up with you.
100%. Thanks, Aiden.
Okay, cool.